Hey everyone, I'm back sooner than expected because I had Yeshua come through last night with a very powerful, heavy-hitting message for the collective that he was wanting me to share today. So it's in response to a message that I just shared from Spider Goddess Woman a couple videos back. So I'll leave a link here. Be sure to check that out. If you haven't already, I do recommend watching it first so you can understand exactly what he's referring to. That was kind of like a first part, and this is definitely a second part. But either way, I love when Yeshua shows up like this. He's spontaneous, he's funny, and he's serious and profound all at the same time. So hopefully you'll get a good sense of his personality and how he likes to share messages once you get to know him a little bit better. I've been working with him for at least 5 years now, since I started channeling, but I wasn't connecting to him as much as I was some other guides until recently. I started reaching out, and so he's been really a great guide, a great friend, and obviously, he's the most protective force you can call on if you think you're having any issues with any negative energies. Just call on Yeshua. He is there for all of us. And I'm really excited to share this message with you, which is on my phone. I downloaded it on my phone first, but I actually have um, that pulled up on my notes on my computer. But before I share, I have to let you guys know how I receive these messages most commonly because it relates to the different layers that are going to show up through the message in relation to a few songs that are connected to this message. So basically, I'm a busy mom of three, and I don't really sit down or have time to like sit down and meditate and receive long downloads from my guides. Um, but I do have a clear signal to all the guides I channel, and I always know who's around and who's coming through with the message, especially because they will introduce themselves, and I'm extremely clairaudient. So typically, I receive messages mostly at night after my kids are sleeping or possibly during the day. I'm typically or commonly wearing my AirPods and listening to music or other um, video messages that I watch. But it's when the music is on that I notice with my own frequency, I can kind of get into the right space to hear who wants to come through. And it a lot of times the guides will sync up with a specific lyric or message that's coming through the song, or they'll sync up with what I'm thinking about or wondering about, and they'll start coming through there. But I'll already have music playing, so then I'll notice, oh my gosh, this message is related to what I'm thinking about, but it's also connected to what this song is saying. So there's always these hidden layers that start to show up through, yeah, how I receive it. So I'm gonna share some of those layers with this message today. So bear with me. I'm also going to let you guys know how this message came out to begin with because it all started, well, let me first get my notes pulled up here. So basically, I had my AirPods in, I play Spotify, and usually I just play from like my liked playlist, and sometimes they'll play their own songs that are kind of a similar genre. So not all of these songs per se are on my liked playlist, but basically I was just listening. I don't remember the song that was on in the beginning when Yeshua first came through, but he started by saying, and this is how I wrote it in my notes, and then Yeshua says, "Oh, we are so doing a video on this tomorrow." And I'm wondering, like, what video. I was talking to another guide at the time about a separate video, but I didn't know how Yeshua connected into that. And it was a different topic, anyways. But nonetheless, um, he's like, kind of said it in like a humorous way. He was like, "Oh, we are so doing a video on this tomorrow." Snap. And as soon as he did that gesture, I immediately thought of this funny video that is basically it's gone viral on the internet. It's been out there for a long time, maybe over a year even. I can't remember when I first saw it, but my husband had just shown it to me like a couple nights before, so it was fresh in my mind. So he was syncing me up to that video by doing that. And I'm gonna leave a link to this short. It's a short actually in the descriptions box so you can watch it for yourself. But it's pretty hilarious. And it's basically a person who's snapping their fingers like this and asking their friend, "What do you think causes the sound when you snap your fingers?" And his friend says, quickly responds, like, "I don't know, friction." And the humor in the video is just basically from then on, this guy like just kind of making fun of the fact that like friction, really? That's what you think causes it? Like laughing about that. And it's like way over dramatic and how he does that and hilarious. So that's what's funny about the video. But essentially, he's like, no, it's not friction. It's, the fact that your middle finger is hitting your palm, and that's what makes the sound. So let's just hold that thought and keep that there because it does bridge into this message, but I want to get into the message first before I then take my time to explain the connection. So continuing from that, Jesus says snap, and I call him Yeshua, but we know him as Jesus too. And yes, snap means friction, or he was just saying, yes, that's the video I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I say snap. I mean that video that where where he's talking about friction. He said, that's a funny video to include, and it will include when I share this message, he says. And it will show humor in the reality of what it means to remain humble in the face of a test or challenge. So now he's getting into the greater message. Humility here means, he says, you don't have all the answers, but you know the truth within, and that's all you're being guided to in any given moment. To answer to your own truth in that moment, in as present of form as you are available to commit to, that you have the soul energy and power to commit to. That's your power. Submit or surrender to the truth. Don't become a slave of other people's projections of you. And then he called this concept the prospect of war, which I didn't understand at the time, the connection, but I had to keep going with what he was saying. So, but I want to pause there because this is the part that actually connects to the snap video and what's going on there. I want to slow it down because I had to actually, and before I got on here today, just now, Yeshua told me to look it up on chat GPT. I'm just going to read this from chat and also how the prospect of war comment fits in. Humility isn't about making yourself small or pretending you don't know anything. It's about not claiming certainty where you don't actually have it. Like that video where someone says the snap sound is friction and they're so sure, but they're wrong. And I don't know if he was really acting so sure, but he definitely gave that answer before like fact checking it. The truth is, but they're wrong. The truth is, it's your finger hitting your palm. And that's how we move through life a lot of the time, grasping for quick answers instead of staying present with what's actually true. What this message is saying is you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be honest about the truth you can feel and embody right now. That's your power. Not performing certainty, not explaining yourself perfectly, just being aligned in the moment. And when you stop abandoning that truth to fit other people's projections, when people are saying it's friction about you and you know that's not your truth, you stop agreeing with them. And that's where the prospect of war comes in. Because the moment you stop complying with what people think you are, dynamics shift. Tension can rise, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're no longer participating in a version of yourself that was built on misunderstanding. So I'm sure you all will kind of understand like how that resonates for you. And I'd love to hear it in the comments, by the way, just anything in this video that does resonate with you. And also, because I see Yeshua over here reminding me to say this, because he was telling me to say this earlier. It's not something I would normally say in this way, but he wants me to say it like this. Um, Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more content. Obviously, I'm getting a lot of downloads coming through now, and I do plan to share as much as I get. And I can tell my guides are on fire with what they want to share because I already have like a pile up of videos that they're telling me to create. So subscribe, hit the notifications so you can know when those are coming online. But Yeshua was also saying it's important for you to like the video, not just to show your support for me personally or this channel or even the message, but to anchor the message in, to anchor it into the timeline. It's like liking the video um, creates an energetic cord, so to speak, or strengthens what he was showing me was it strengthens the ability for other people to connect to the message, to not just find the message, but to like collectively, right? We're all connected multidimensionally in ways that we don't fully acknowledge most of the time. But essentially, it's going to anchor in the higher Christ consciousness timelines and kind of like solidify that more into the ascension timelines and accelerated path that we're all on. So I wanted to get that out. But I do really appreciate your support in helping me grow this channel. So thank you for that. Um, okay, let's go back to the message. He says, notice where you are aching and longing for something better, but not willing to commit to it yourself and make the changes you need to make in order to recreate that dynamic in a way that's more heart and soul fulfilling for you or both parties if we're talking about relationships here. Um, so Yeshua says, then he went into like he was showing me this vision about something else. And it was basically a vision of what we call the all-seeing eye, what the symbol that we see that we often refer to as like the elitist symbol or the controller's symbol, that is on the dollar bill. It's a pyramid with a eye at the top. We call that the all-seeing eye. He was showing me that pyramid, that eye, but as if the eye in okay, but it was like the collective itself was the pyramid, like all of our energies, all of our individual energies formed this pyramid on the ground. And you could see the eye of God kind of like the eye started to open at the top of this pyramid that was created by all of our energies. So this was the vision. And then he said, the all seeing eye is beginning to open, referring to us as the collective as the true, organic, all-seeing eye, not what they're trying to sell us, that they have this power, okay? Or symbol, right? It's not a negative symbol. It's actually a symbol that represents our power, not their power, but they've hijacked it in that way. He says, we have the power He-Man included, and this is his sense of humor coming through because He-Man was one of my favorite cartoons when I was younger, and my kids like it too. The original, and from the 80s. And so he was saying we all have the power because there's that point where he holds up the sword and he's like, I have the power. And my guides like to reference stuff like that to keep it light. But so it was a little laugh there because and then I'm like, should I share that too? You just interrupted a message with like He-Man and a laugh. And he's like, yeah, share it because Yeshua has a sense of humor and he knows how to reach the hearts of many. Like that's what he said. Okay. So, haha, yes, that's so true. You know how to reach the hearts of many. Um, I love that he said that in response to me questioning to include that. Anyways, by now on my AirPods, I was starting to connect to different songs that were playing, and that felt like he was drawing my awareness to the song that was playing. And at that time, it wasn't even a song that's on my liked Spotify playlist. It was a song that they were kind of like bouncing off of it and putting in there. So yeah, it's interesting. So the song was Dancing Days by Stone Temple Pilots or STP, and it's actually a remake of an original song by Led Zeppelin. But the song was playing, and um, Yeshua used the lyric to share the rest of this message. And I'm going to leave links to these songs in the description box if you want to listen to them. And you might find more deeper connections. But anyways, he says, Dancing days are here again. That's the lyric from the song. He's repeating, it's time to dance in the face of their threats because we have the ultimate power and they know it. It's time we remember it. That's ultimately how the story goes. So he was talking about the all-seeing eye is opening, but that's us opening. Our third eyes are opening. We're opening to see what is really going on. So we're waking up. That's the waking up movement. And it's happening very, very quickly now. It's spreading like wildfire. I've been shown that in other visions from different guides as well. So the collective vision is remembering itself, essentially, is what he's also saying to me right now. It's time we remember it. That's ultimately how the story goes. If a happy ending is what you want to manifest, then be happy and stop pretending to be a slave when you're wearing the armor of God. Here's where a word isn't correct because it doesn't always like copy my words correctly. Um, Oh, here it is. Created us to, God created you to wear your hearts on your sleeves because you are protected in your right to be free. So by now, there was another song playing, and it was by the Wallflowers. This is another song not on my original list of music playing, called Sixth Avenue Heartache. So Yeshua says, our time of being the wallflower is over. Our time to shine and rise above has come. Grace rises with you and me. I am no different from you, and you are no different from me. We are all one in our ultimate potential to create what we want. The ethics that we want to live by exist within us. The laws of the kingdom of God exist within us, and no man or power outside of us can take that privilege and right away unless we hand it over or give it away. No man or race can claim this territory, as we are all gods and goddesses, kings and queens in our own right. We all have the right to claim freedom of our own territory, and that's where the collective harmony starts. We stop agreeing to their rules and we start living by God's rules, which are authentic to our true core freedoms that we came here to express, experience, and protect for the rights of others. Together, we will create paradise. It is done. The law has been written and the wheel of God has been served. And I was getting a vision as he was saying this, like literally God is serving papers to all of the governments and leaders and races that are claiming territory over this land, and they're getting served documents of some kind. And I literally saw that like as if they're in a court of law. So, okay, I lost my place. Sorry. Um, ugh, where is it? Okay, I'm just gonna reread that. Okay. Together we will create paradise. It is done. The law has been written and the wheel of God has been served. Like paperwork in a court document. We've divorced this version of our collective and we have chosen our freedom or gained our freedom in return. That is the end game and the only end game that truly exists. Tune to it or be slaves to their bulldozers with no regret. You do have a choice. True freedom under God's laws means you always have a choice. So the true freedom that exists under God's laws means we always have a choice, no matter what they attempt to tell us. But the one line where he says, tune to it, tune to the end game, that, you know, we've divorced this version of our collective, or be slaves to their bulldozers with no regret. It's kind of like a challenge. But he's also quoting a song that wasn't playing at the time, but it's a song I'm familiar with because I channel Chris Cornell as well. And it's a Soundgarden song, and that was his band. And there's a song called Slaves and Bulldozers, and it fits with what he's trying to tell us here. But anyways, he's just reminding us that we have a choice. We always have a choice under God's laws because we're always free. So then he says, reclaim your sovereignty and choose wisely. You are free. You just forgot that you were. And at that point, ironically, the song Hunger Strike was playing in my ears. And that is a song that I like and have been listening to or connecting to with recently. But it's also been very much going viral because it kind of talks about like some of the stuff that is now being revealed to be true, some of the conspiracy theory stuff, but it's anyways, it's that's a separate issue. The song itself is connected to the message in the sense that Jesus says, because it's called Hunger Strike, and it's basically another Chris Cornell song, but he wrote it with the band Temple of the Dog, and it came out like a long, long, long time ago, like early 90s, but it's talking about I'm going hungry, and just keeps like repeating a lot of that line, the going hungry. And so he says, Yeshua says, eat from the table of eternal life or the tree of life, and you will never go hungry. It is written in our DNA. God says so. And that's where the transmission ended. And I feel like I was all over the place in trying to get that message out to you guys today, but I appreciate your patience if you're still watching. Um, it's a powerful message, and I just wanted to get it out as soon as possible because that was the plan. So I hope that resonated for you and hit home on some level, and I'd love to hear how in the comments if you'd like to share. So yeah, that's it for now, but I thank you for being here and helping me grow and supporting my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.